Hey everybody, welcome to my channel again. This is the Kid 147. This is my 98 Kawasaki ZX7R, and today I'm going to show you the float bowl mod. I've already done it, but I'm just going to show you, what I did and how I got there. So I've already removed the tank on my Kawasaki. Now I'll show you real quick. To remove the tank, there's just 2 bolts there and 2 bolts up front. Put the petcock onto off. You remove that fuel line, and with this fuel line, what you can do is put a golf tee in there, and that'll seal it up while you're using it. It's also a good idea to remove the negative on the battery before you do any work on your motorcycle or vehicle. And with this hose here, just the breather tube, you can just take that off. It doesn't have to go anywhere, but anyways, what I've already done is there's bolts. You have to remove your airbox in order to do this float bowl mod, right? So you have to remove all the bolts. I've already done that, so I'll just kind of show you. A little differently. Normally, when you look at it, these 2 hoses are connected to other hoses, and all the emissions control garbage essentially. What I've done is I've capped off this end. So if you look at the airbox on the left side, the one closest to the headlight switch, I've capped it off. So I've kept the same tube, but I've just put a big bolt in it and then sealed it off. There's lots of different ways to do it. Some people actually melt it closed. Some people remove it and seal it right on the actual box side, but this was the easiest. I just had a spare bolt sitting around. I'm not too worried about weight savings, so put that there. Now I'll show you later, but this tube goes on the right side. So this tube there, that goes on the right side, and that attaches to that hole there. But I'll show you after in a second, because we're going to have to remove these bolts, and then we're going to have to remove the actual air filter, just so I can show you all the emission stuff. But then there's this one down here as well. I don't know if you can see that, but there's that one right there. You can just take that off. Try not to lose anything. And there's another smaller one right there. That'll just pop right off. At least it's supposed to. Okay. There we go. So I've got all the hoses off. Now you'll just need an 8mm to remove it all. There's just 3 bolts here. But then there's washers on the end of them, as well as these little brass cups. Don't lose them, and keep them in the same order. The washers go on the bottom, then the cup, and then the bolt goes through that. This is what I'm talking about. That's how the order should be when you put them back. Yes, my filter still looks okay. I cleaned it not too long ago. I've recently oiled it, so it's not too bad. The only other thing that's going to be stopping you is, I'll try to show you, it's your airbox induct. So right here. Sometimes you can get the box, the actual airbox out without having to take them off. So you got two on either side. And that's what I'm going to see if I can do. So this is what the float bowl mod is supposed to look like. So you have your carbs up top, you have your valve cover, right? And what you're going to want to do is this line here, you actually want to cap it off. I just put a screw in everything just because it's honestly simple and it's easy, and I don't like destroying as I like to destroy as little as possible. So but this line, it's going to be hard to see because it's kind of dark, but this line goes underneath the carbs and it splits into two. One goes inside, well actually they both go into the bottom in the engine block, but one goes pretty much right around there, and then the other one goes on the other side, right? So just right there. But they both go on the inside of the engine block. So you just want to cap that one off, and all it is a breather tube. And then you have these ones that go from the carbs. So you have these two that are on the carbs, and then these are already here. This one plugged into an emission control garbage box, whatever, that we don't need anymore. So you want to keep this, and this tube is already here, but you want to keep that as well, right? Because that's where this lines up, and then this end goes into the right side of the airbox, of the top of the airbox. So that tube, let me see, that was one big long tube. And what I actually did was I went to Home Depot or Rona or whatever you have around here, and you want to buy a joining, I just got a metal male output on each end, so it's going to be different diameter, right? So you want a diameter for, I just brought both tubes in, and I walked into Home Depot and I said, this is what I need. And so we hooked it onto here, clamped it down, hooked this one onto this end, and I actually used a zip tie to zap it down, just because I didn't have a clamp big enough. The other thing you want to do is I went and I bought plastic, pretty much the same thing, but it's both the same diameter, right? And so you attach these two, which have the big long emission control right in there, and so you attach these two together. So these two here, you want to attach them together. And then lastly, you have one tube that actually runs from here all the way along, so you can see where it used to sit right in there. These are your spark plug wires, and it used to run all the way along there. But what I've done is I've actually plugged it off at the end, you can see there, and then I zip tied it down so it's just tucked out of the way. Still nice and accessible, but I still left the tubing there, you know, just in the event that something will happen. I don't know, but again, that's what you would need to do for the float bowl mod. I'll put a diagram on from what I found online, but honestly it takes a couple hours. Super simple, does make your bike run really good. I do recommend jetting your bike, just because you're increasing the airflow. So now you need to put either a stage 1 or stage 2 jet kit in your carbs just to make it run optimal. So you have two little tubes. So you have one tube here, and that was that one that was really difficult to get off. for me was just seized on there. And there's going to be a little grommet somewhere. Oh, it's falling all the way down to the bottom. I'll get that later. But then there's this tube here, this other big tube, and that goes on the bottom of the gearbox. And there'll be another. Take that, and you put that on, just like that. And then when you put your gas tank on, you're going to want to hook your gas line back up to the petcock, hook the breather tube back up, bolt the tank down. You got the 2 bolting rays, and then you fire it up, and away you go. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments, by all means, let me know. Have a good day. Ride safe.